Hello, Palmist Ankur here. I wanted to talk to you about right versus left hand, and there seems to be a lot of confusion among people regarding this. Which hand to look at? You look at both hands. Both hands are quite important. Both hands give you, when you look at both hands, it gives you a complete picture of a person. So the hand if you're right-handed, the right hand is your active hand. If you're left-handed, left hand is your active hand. And that, unless you are very young or you're a child or a teenager, in which case the passive hand may show more of what is happening right now, but otherwise the active hand, for a right-handed person the right hand, for a left-handed person the left hand, the active hand will show you your destiny as it is unfolding right now and the near future. But you need to look at both hands, because the passive hand will show you the latent tendencies, also some of the upbringing which you had. So all this is very important to understand who a person is and how that person has evolved over time. And the passive now, but a lot of people think it's a mistaken assumption that the left hand does not change, whereas the right changes. Now, if you were to observe your hand carefully over a period of time, you will realize that both hands change. Right and left, both the lines will change, the markings will change, the new marking will suddenly appear, or some old marking will disappear. All kinds of things keep happening in the hands as your destiny changes according to your actions which you are doing in your present life. Both hands change, and so some people are surprised that why the left hand is changing, because they think left hand for the right-handed person, or why the right hand is changing for the left-handed person, why the passive hand is changing. Some people are confused about it. They think that if the passive hand is only showing the bringing or the latent tendencies, then it should not change. But first of all, latent tendencies of a person also keep changing, so the passive hand will change. And the passive hand does not reflect only the past, but also reflects the, you can say, the potential future. For example, when you look at both hands, and if both hands show a certain event at around the same time, if both of them give this testimony, so you are very, very sure that this is going to happen, because the potential future and the future which is being shown in your active hand, both are being pointed to at the same time. So the passive hand will also show you a potential future, a latent future, you can say. Something, if you were to change your behavior or actions a little bit, then you could guide your active hand towards that possibility which is being signified by the passive hand. And those possibilities keep changing as well. The latent future also keeps changing as the currently projected future, according to your behavior, your actions. So instead of RH, LH, let's say here I remove this. It's one should not get confused between this, but rather active hand and passive hand. So if you're a right-handed person, then active hand is the right hand, and if you're a left-handed person, then left hand is your active hand. So once again, I reiterate this: active and passive. So active is, you can say, is best to remember these words, then you understand it better, because a lot of confusion exists out there around this. Active, you can say, is your projected future, and passive hand is your latent future. Plus, of course, the past. This also will show your past, what really happened, for example. Yeah, both will show the past. This will show more in the sense of upbringing, plus latent tendencies. So it's important. So usually people get interested in palm reading because they want to know the future. So if you want to know the future, you have to look at, and of course, if you also want to know the past and the present, anything, you have to look at both the hands. You have to look at what is latent, and you have to look is what it is projected. And as your actions will change your future to some extent. There may be some things which are very difficult to change, and for that one has to go to the astrological charts to see what are the things which are really immovable, and there may be things which are quite which you can change in your destiny, and they can be big things. It is not that only small things you can change. Big things can also be changed. The complete course of life can be changed. So, and sometimes it may not seem in your control. It's not just that do good and good things will happen. Life is not so simple. Yeah, but it's an art to understand your destiny and to try to guide its course as much as you can, because of course human being cannot do everything. Thank you. I hope this clears up quite a lot of misconceptions about the hands. And one more note at the end. A lot of people, a lot of women in India think that because they are women, their only left hand should be looked at. But again, as I say, it's not like this. If you're a right-handed person, then your active hand should be looked at. If you're a left-handed person, sorry, if you're a right-handed person, then yeah, your right hand is the active hand, and so that should be looked at. And if you're a left-handed person, then and both hands of course should be looked at, but your right hand is the active hand, and left-handed person, then left hand is the active hand. So active and passive have some differences between them. You have to look at both the hands. And if it's a teenager or a young person, then the passive hand gains more importance, much more importance, unless the child is already out in the world for some reason and let's, for example, child laborers, for example, who unfortunately, yeah, are passing their life doing the work of what an adult would do. So of course, if it's some so you don't have to memorize rules blindly. You have to understand the logic behind. So of course, if some child is out in the world doing the same work as, for example, an adult would, then the active hand gains much more prominence. But otherwise, passive hand for you, most children or even teenagers, is quite important, even for the projected future, for the current future, you can say. So this one is a slightly long video because there are a lot of misconceptions about active and passive. um, Especially in India, where a lot of women think that only their left hand should be seen, and many men think that only their right hand should be seen. But it's not like that. If you're a left-handed man, then your both hands should be seen, but your left hand is the active hand. And if you're a right-handed woman, then again both hands should be seen, but your right hand is the active hand. So yeah, that's about it. And it is, again, I reiterate, it's very important to look at both the hands. So thank you. Bye bye. Please do like, share, and subscribe.